Wagwan people, welcome back to the channel. It's Duel Links again. Remember to like and subscribe if you like this video. Today, I am going to look at some free-to-play options. This was a request from a subscriber. I'm sorry if I butcher your name, but my boy, MMR MMR... Oh my god, I butchered it already. MMR MMRRadov. My boy, he asked me for some free-to-play content. Okay, my guy. Okay. This isn't like an optimal build. We're just going to sort of talk about free-to-play. I got a couple of replays for you. Don't worry, my guys. Don't worry. So, really what I want to talk about is your free-to-play options. You'll notice this is a completely free-to-play deck. Besides one, I'm sorry, Adov, I've got to throw in one guy that isn't free to play. I need a 6-star synchro in this deck to make it even worth running. But look, okay. So, what I want to talk to you about is the best free to play cards, really. And in the current meta, if you can build decks around DNA surgery, then because the thing is, you get this out, it counters so many decks. Vampires, the moment they're not zombies, they can't activate Vampire Takeover, and I'm pretty sure Vampire Kingdom doesn't work unless they're zombies. I don't think they have. Yeah, they don't have to be vampires, do they? They have to be zombies. So DNA Surgery makes vampire decks slower and less playable. They're a really good card to build decks out of in this current meta if you want to play in the meta but you want to play free. You can get them at the card trader, and also it's a Weevil reward as well. But it's a really good card in this meta. Also a card we need to talk about in terms of power. Inverse Universe. This is a, I think it's a Cyrus reward. You have to duel Cyrus to earn it. Now, Inverse Universe is a really powerful card because it basically makes really big monsters really small monsters. It's essentially a free-to-play version of Wall of D. Now, don't get me wrong, if you've got, against something like Ancient Gears, this is going to do absolutely nothing. But for most decks, for Silent Magician decks, Silent Swordsman decks, this is going to make their boss monsters only 1,000 attack. That's really, really good. These two, Curse of Anubis and Windstorm of Etiqua. These two cards, you get this from leveling up Odeon and this from leveling up Mai. These two cards used to be meta, but they're not meta anymore. They used to be meta, and they can basically buy you a turn. They can turn all your opponent's monsters into defense and buy you a turn, essentially, to get another draw and, do something. Obviously, if we're talking about free-to-play, 2 enemy controllers are staple in free-to-play. It's probably the best free-to-play card in the game. It's so versatile, and it's probably going to be somewhat relevant in every meta. So, it's really good. It's a really good card. Make sure you get your 2 copies of these. I want to also talk about this. This is a Weevil reward. I'm only putting this in because I'm running Parasite Infestation. I've literally only put it in for that, because if you can combo it with Parasite Infestation, it's a 1-card board wipe on your opponent. So I think it's pretty good. I haven't got it to pop off yet, but I haven't played with this deck very long. Also, Cypher Soldier. Now this thing, free to play, you buy it at the card trader. Now you combo that with DNA Surgery. Even without DNA Surgery, there are warrior decks out there. Decks like Mask Change, and Cypher Soldier deals with that shit and it's a 1-card. I'm dealing with this. You combo it with DNA Surgery, it deals with every deck. It becomes so difficult to get over. I'm looking at Torapart here. Torapart's a free-to-play card. You get it from Judge. Is his name Trudge? Trudge. You get it from Trudge. He's 2-star, but he can only be used for warrior type synchros. So if in this particular build, he can synchro with Cypher Soldier, and he can synchro with Big Piece Golem. and he doesn't make anything good. He makes Lightning Warrior, Go-Yo Chaser, and Junk Warrior. They're free-to-play synchros, so I haven't really got much option. But when this is used for a synchro, the synchro that it makes cannot, your opponent cannot activate trap cards when he attacks. So that plays around Drowning Mirror Force, Wall of D, all these responsive cards of you like making an attack, Widespread Ruin, all these cards your opponent won't be able to activate because you synchroed with this guy. I put in a Dark Resonator because he doesn't die. He takes 2 attacks to die. And obviously Big Beast Golem, I think is the best free-to-play card I have that's 5-star. And I literally am only putting him in because he's 5-star. Obviously, if we weren't free-to-play, something like Tricky would be better. This is a totally free-to-play deck, and I'm trying to build something that's sort of anti-meta. The last card I'm going to talk about, though, in this deck, Magic Deflector. Now, this card, again, you can get it from the card trader. In this current meta, it's worth playing in a free-to-play deck, maybe just as a 1, maybe not more than 1. But look, for the rest of the turn, equip, field, continuous, and quick play spells are negated. All of them. So, don't get me wrong, normal spell cards will still work. Normal spell cards will still work if you pop this. But, you think about a Mask Change deck. You pop this bad boy when they activate Mask Change, it doesn't work. And then say they've got another copy of Mask Change in their hand, they haven't read the effect properly, and they try and do it again. And they will, we can't do it because Magic Deflector works for the rest of the turn. So, this is quite good. Magic Deflector, it's definitely a card worth looking into if you're free to play. So here you go, Adov. This is a deck that you can check out. You can make this yourself. A bit of grinding will be involved. You have to get your ultra rare, what are they called? A bit of grinding's involved, mate. But this is an interesting anti-meta deck. So this deck also utilises DNA Surgery, and we're utilising Ivy Shackles. What I love about this deck is we are giving Sniffus a go. This new card. I love this guy, and I haven't used it yet. This deck I haven't play tested at all. I've just thrown some stuff together that I think, try and work together, and at the same time try and be a little bit meta conscious. So I've got Trap negation from the hand with Rose Archer. Sniffus gives us synchro plays. Obviously, these two guys, free to play staples. I can't use enemy controller because we've got Rose Lover. Obviously, Fragrant Storm you can get at the card shop. Thorn of Malice you can get as a level up reward. Card shop, level up reward, card shop. Yeah, totally free to play. Card shop, and that was a event reward. So, but to be fair, the skill isn't important right now. Well, obviously the skill's important, but this isn't the skill that I'd be running with the deck. I haven't play tested it yet. This is still a concept. I haven't. Maybe I'll start play testing it after the video, and then maybe do a video on this build. Who knows? But right now, I'm not going to play test it for the time being. It's just a concept that I'm working on. But give me time. I want to make it free to play as well. But you could probably, you can do the Rose Tentacle thing. Because look, Rose Tentacle's effect activates when he kills a plant type monster. So Ivy Shackles will make his ability pop. Also Bergamot as well. But look, guys, this is just a concept at the minute. It's not. I haven't play tested it or anything. It's just a bit of fun. But a Jammer Go, like, my thinking is put a defense position monster out on their board and attack for piercing damage. But again, I mean, this is not a finished deck by any sense. It's just a couple of ideas that I've thrown together. You don't need the Cypher Soldier. You know, let's just do that for the time being. We don't even need DNA Surgery, but it's there. You know, I'd get rid of Ivy Shackles, just run DNA Surgery. And then you've got room for more free-to-play cards. Like I say, it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. I will get back to that deck. But here you go, my boy. Here you go, Adolf. This is the sort of meta conscious. I'm trying to think about how the meta works with the cards I've put in, but also trying to put in cards that are going to do something. The problem with this deck, you can't draw. You can't draw, and when it comes to free to play, drawing is hard. Drawing, you know, finding cards that can work with the cards you got, and that can also get you some draws. It's tough, unfortunately. It's tough. For free to play, it's tough. But I'm going to show you some replays of that deck, my guy. I suppose if you want to be completely free to play and never earn a gem and never buy anything with your gems, then yeah, you know, you can do this. So here we go. My Parasite goes in. He gets 1. Now I set 2. I want to keep him, but you want to keep your duplicates in hand. Now obviously I'm just going to say this. I'm expecting vampires. I think you can think it's fair. It's pretty fair for me to be expecting vampires at this point. I'm expecting like one of these to be a takeover. I thought maybe he drew badly, didn't get a Gazuki or didn't get a Samurai Skull, so he's had to set a monster in defense. So I'm expecting vampires at this point, and I just pass. Awful draws, like, and he passes. So I'm like, the thing because he passed here, I'm like, I don't think he's playing vampires, but I do misplay here. You want to activate this. If this was vampires, you need to activate this in the draw phase, because then if he has got a vampire takeover, he won't have a face-up monster to activate it with, and then when he does flip his monster, it won't be a zombie, so it won't activate. So I should have activated DNA Surgery there in case it was vampires. But it's not vampires, it's only bloody Silent Swordsman. So I don't even need to pop the DNA Surgery. I don't even need to do it. That just happened. That just happened to you. Alright. So he's down to 1200. Now I am at this point worried about a bandit play. If he's using the bandit skill. So I go for Econ and let him negate it. I'm just wanting to set another trap, because traps are the only thing that's going to deal with this. But I decide to go for the attack. Now I know he's got a shield warrior. But I go for the attack because obviously if this goes through, we win. And maybe he didn't think that it would... maybe he had no idea what was going on, I don't know. But he let the attack go through and I won. You know, they're not an archetype or anything. They just have effects that work well together. You know, it confuses people. I think this is a Kawaki Miru deck. So this is against the meta. I love the Parasite ability because, as far as I'm concerned, it makes someone's deck far less consistent. So he goes for an Urn Knight, and then ends. No Iron Core in his hand. I'm like, poor boy has not got... See, like, he's not got an Iron Core in his hand, and he can't have a Diamond Core either, otherwise he would have popped it. Because you're not gonna just sit on an Urn Knight. You're not just gonna do that. So I knew he was in trouble. I go for an Econ take because I know that his effect. If you Econ take a Kawaki Miru, then in your end phase its effect will pop again to try and kill itself. So you will end up destroying your opponent's monster. It's always worth thinking about that one. Alright, so we get 2,000 damage on board. Alright, he still doesn't go. He still hasn't got his Iron Core. And I'm feeling a little bad for him, it has to be said. But he has another Earn Knight in hand. So I've got nothing else that I can do. But we've got Inverse Universe at the ready. But he goes for Hatronade. So I pop one DNA Surgery. And I also pop the Inverse. Because we won't be able to survive if he can summon a Maximus. Even without the Inverse. Sorry, even with Inverse. But he goes for Sandman and we survive. We survive. So he can save the Earn Knight, but he can't save Sandman. And then we get the Cypher Soldier. Brutal. We go for the attack. He's only got 150 life points left. Now at this point, I thought he was going to pop Last Gamble. I'd forgotten that he had Grit. So I'm worrying here. I'm panicking. I'm like, oh my god, he's going to do something. But look at this. He gets his Iron Core, and then he's like, I want to be clever, and I want to pop Core Compensation. But, Parasite, if you draw it, not in your draw phase, if you draw it, then its effect pops. So he kills himself here, willingly. There you go. There you go. Also, Adov, you've got dinosaurs, man. Dinosaurs have some serious free-to-play usage. This isn't a free-to-play deck, but it's nearly free-to-play. So I run 3 Giant Rex. You can get that for you. That was the is his name Bastion? The dinosaur dude. He had an event, Giant Rex. I got 3 copies. I got 1 copy of Evil Swarm Salamandra. That's from your PvP awards, and you can get it in the tag tournament. He interacts with Giant Rex beautifully. Because we're free to play, I'm using other dinos that you get for free. So Black Stego, you got that from Bastion. Black Brachios, I think that's a PvP reward. And Black Veloci, that was a reward. You know, that was an event reward. Because we're banishing dinosaurs, that's the niche of the deck. We're running 3 Tyranno Infinity. Again, that's a PvP reward. The only cards that aren't free to play, Needlebug Nest, Magical Merchant, Gigantis. Brilliant Karibo's free, and Shield Warrior's free. They're basically cards in the graveyard that you can benefit from. I need mill cards, and the only free mill cards are Grass Looks Greener. So I'm going for, I have to put in Magical Merchant, I have to put in a Needlebug Nest. That does make it a non-free-to-play deck, but it's pretty damn cheap. I also run 2 Gigantis as well. That is a gem card. You get that from the Secret of the Ancients, and I've got 2 copies of it. And the thing is, it interacts with Giant Rex, so that's why it's in the deck. Grass Looks Greener you can get from the Card Trader. Survival Instinct, I think you can PvP it, or you can get it by Dueling Rex. Survival of the Fittest was the event card from this guy. This is a pretty free-to-play deck, but obviously that's not free-to-play, that's not free-to-play, and that's not free-to-play. I only got Magical Merchant and the Needlebug Nest because I got I got the selection boxes, the 10 that you're allowed to get with gems, and I got 1 Needlebug and 2 Magical Merchant, and they were the only sort of normal and rare cards that I definitely wanted 3 copies of. There was a couple that I wanted 3 copies of, but these ones for sure I wanted 3 copies of, and I didn't get them. It's reasonably free to play, and if you've bought some selection boxes with your gems, then you probably have these cards. You probably have a couple of copies of these floating around in your trunk somewhere. Throw them in. But obviously it's pretty specific. Like, you needed to play that event with this guy. This guy, I'd run at 3. If I had 3, I've only got 1. But I would run him at 3. Don't question me. He's amazing. He's amazing. There you go, free to play. Nowhere near as consistent don't run it like this. I will say this with a heavy heart, Adolf. There's no free to play. There's no room for free to play in the current meta. I mean, look, we're free to play, but the thing is, I do grind my characters up so I can get my gems, so I can go in on boxes. I have decks that aren't free to play, you know, but I am free to play. And the thing is, if you want to stay relevant in this game, if you want to play competitively, unfortunately, you do have to bite the bullet, grind up for them gems, and go in on some boxes. But this is not a casual build. I mean, look, this would probably do well, quite decent in a casual duel. In the meta, it's the meta that we're worried about, though. Cards like Magic Deflector, I'm only putting that in because of the meta. The meme card of the deck is Eradicating Aerosol. It's such a specific card. I mean, if I haven't got the Parasite Infestation out, I'd try and combo it with DNA Surge. But it kills all insect-type monsters on the field, not just your opponents. So you've got to keep that in mind. But that's a card for the memes. That's a card for the memes. But there you go, my man. You want free to play? You wanted free to play, my man. I bring you free to play. Try it out. Try it out. Hopefully you got all the cards. Like I say, if there was better synchros in the game, then at the moment you can't really build a free to play synchro deck. There's just not enough free to play synchros in the game that are generic enough for you to build decks out of, unfortunately. But hopefully that will change. Hopefully that will change. Konami, please do something for the game and bring us some free-to-play synchros that are generic. I need generic synchros, man. All the generic synchros. I mean, this one's generic. I like that. But it is it's part of an archetype. I need some generic synchros in my life, man. I need some 6-star generic synchros in my life that I don't have to go in on a box for. That's my request, Konami. Please deliver. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, guys. Hopefully we've gone over some of the free-to-play options that you have as a free-to-play player. Aromas as well. I've done videos on aromas in the past on the channel. Go back and check them out. Aromas are a great free-to-play option. Really, really good. It was only a couple of weeks ago, and when that video came out, aromas were meta-relevant. So the meta changes on a whim. Hopefully Konami makes a few changes to that. Hopefully Koaki Murus get hit and get hit hard. And hopefully other decks will get hit. Because the thing is, there'll be no point in hitting Koakis if you don't hit a couple of other decks as well. So a couple of decks need to get hit by the ban list. And then hopefully balance can be restored in the Duel Links community. But anyway, that's your lot. Thanks for watching, people. Keep it free to play, my brothers. Take care. Much love. Remember to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.